Dogpack44 claimed Mr. Beast's cousin, James Warren, beat his girlfriend. It turned out to be wrong. What did Dogpack do? He basically said, who cares, it's not a big deal. Take a look. It all started here. Dogpack introduces James Warren as Mr. Beast's cousin and immediately discredits him as, quote, a psychopath who screams at people and hisses girlfriends. He goes on to say that James Warren has domestic violence charges filed against him, allegedly. And then he brings up a pretty weird point. He claims to say allegedly and sarcastically says, yeah, quote, there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren who assault their girlfriends. This statement looked incredibly suspicious as I was making my rebuttal to the entire video, and this was only 3 minutes in. Because first, he said he was still having people look into these cases, implying he didn't have all the facts at the point in which he made his allegation, and second, playing internet detective is really dangerous. If you make a wrong allegation, it could potentially ruin that person's life forever. Reddit will tell you, after they played internet detective, they were sure they had the guy behind the Boston bombings, which turned out to be the wrong guy. The guy killed himself and everyone forgot about it. This guy is peak internet detective. He has the board, the police uniform, the thumbnail, everything. Then he said he's having people look into these cases, specifically that surprise witness like she's working for him or something. So she looked into it. Take a look.
I did look into this and I went into it thinking he had done that. Okay. I went into it thinking he did it and I'm just going to have to find the paperwork for it. And suffice it to say that I do not think that the case number that is associated with this picture right here, and I told Dawson this, and that's why I said this in the video. I do not think that this particular case is the same James Warren for many reasons. Like I said, I did a few hours of research just into this case alone. I just don't think this is the same James Warren. It doesn't even appear that this James Warren is even related to this James Warren that we're talking about. And there's it's a common name. James, a very common name. We got 11 Jameses and Jakes just at the Mr. Beast company. So I don't think that that is him. So I am not prepared to make the allegation that he committed some type of domestic incident that has been put on the record because I've not been able to find that.
Imagine somebody spread a false rumor about you that you beat your girlfriend because he looked up on the internet that some guy with the same name as you had a court case and he beat his girlfriend. He labeled you instead of that guy as a criminal and posted it on the internet. Oh, and by the way, 2 million people saw it over the course of 5 days. Still counting. He even posted a photo of you on the internet along with the label domestic violence offender. Then the guy who posted on the internet finally figured out it wasn't you. What would you want him to do? You would probably want him to take down the video and re-upload or something if he wants to keep the rest of the content, right? If that's asking for too much, which I can't believe why it would be, I would say the least you could do is acknowledge you were wrong and apologize. Because you accuse somebody of a crime they did not commit. It's not that hard. So, did Dogpack apologize? Well, take a look. This Twitter user named Nicholas De Rio calls Dogpack out for this exact thing, referring to the same video by that surprised witness, saying, "This is your source? Your own source can't stand by the allegation you made. This completely eviscerates your credibility." The word source, of course, referring to what Dogpack said in his own video, quote, "I'm still having people look into these cases, specifically that surprise witness on YouTube." Then Dogpack says, "When did I say she was my source?" Why would my source be someone who never worked at Beast? The specific case she's referring to I got from another journalist and I did not include it in my video. Did not include it in my video. Did not include it in my video. I think she's mistakenly believing I got it from someone at Beast. So when he thought that surprise witness was going to be of help to him, he shouted her channel out multiple times in his video. But when she tells the truth that doesn't fit his narrative, he immediately discredits her. Dogpack, the more I research into you, the more I realize why you got fired after a month or two. Then it says here, domestic violence claims against James from several former employees. Some claim to have witnessed it firsthand. As with anything, it's possible my sources are wrong, but people swear it's true, so I put out the claim with a clear disclaimer that it's not proven. Notice how he goes from confidently saying James Warren was a psychopath who hits his girlfriends to saying, no, that's not me speaking, I got that from my sources. It's possible they're wrong, but they swear it's true, so I put out the claim with the disclaimer that it's not proven. Right, so here's the thing about disclaimers, right? As Ludwig said.
The issue with the word allegedly is you can say anything. Allegedly, this guy was receiving top while recording. Like, what do you...
Like, you can say an innocent man murdered somebody. Allegedly not proven, I said it, so it's not my fault. He domestically abused his girlfriend. Allegedly not proven, I put out the claim with a clear disclaimer that it's not proven. Okay, but what happens to the people you falsely accuse? The 2 million people and additional people who are still flocking in, who haven't read the tweet, who haven't seen this video, will still think this case was related to James Warren, Mr. Beast's cousin. This guy's falsely accused of a case he is not related to, and your response is, I said allegedly, so it's not my fault. So you don't even want to take the responsibility if you're wrong. In fact, I would argue that's worse than saying it without using the word allegedly, because in that case, you would have to take responsibility if you're wrong. In this case, you want to accuse somebody and not take any responsibility by using the word allegedly. And you use the word allegedly a lot in your videos. Imagine a Reddit guy went, this guy is allegedly the Boston bomber. And when it was discovered he wasn't, and he himself. When questioned, he goes, I put out the claim with the disclaimer that it's not proven, so it's not my fault. I swear, Dogpack, I will fight until I see the day you go down, and it will be so satisfying. Anyway, Nicholas Del Rio responds, well, if you watch your own video, you said you've started looking into these allegations, the case against James Warren, and then immediately say specifically that surprise witness, implying she's done the bulk of your research on this specific issue with freedom of information requests and such. Her own video tells much the same story. There is absolutely no reason to go forward with accusing someone of having domestic violence charges filed against them without fully verifying that information. The entire nature of this stuff is public record. Boom! Hits all the right points. Nails it. Then he continues, I'm not talking about allegations he hits women or offers employees coke or acts like a psychopath. I imagine people are telling you tons of. I am simply asking why the person you shouted out spent days researching the same case you showed and concluded she didn't think that was the same James Warren prior to you running the video. Why would you include the state of North Carolina versus James Warren unless you are absolutely sure this was her guy? And then Dogpack goes, because I never mentioned the case I sent her in my vid. There are hundreds of the state of North Carolina versus James Warren cases. Here are the 6 criminal court cases under the correct James Warren. Censored addresses and SSN. Could be traffic tickets, could be murder. I'm still waiting on the FOIA requests that will take weeks, not days. So, in your video, you couldn't fact check whether it was the correct James Warren, and you had to go by the flimsy guesswork that a James Warren who assaulted his girlfriend has to be that specific guy. Now you're sure that this is the correct James Warren, okay? Like, this guy going by the username Comment Cop perfectly summarizes what Dogpack just said. Hey bro, I heard I'm still waiting on the FYI request to confirm, but I think you should alert all your followers already in the meantime. I agree the phrasing and plug was bad, but you're exaggerating to make a mountain out of a molehill, IMO, in my opinion. I'll repeat, he brought up a case where the assailant beats his girlfriend, posted his photo, and labeled him a domestic abuser. It turns out the case was unrelated. Dogpack's response is, you're exaggerating. Like, this guy's willing to claim in his video that the subscribe for a cookie banner in a Mr. Beast channel is a psychologically manipulative mechanism to exploit children by implying positive reinforcement, and he's calling this guy to be making a mountain out of a molehill because he called his domestic violence allegation out to be wrong. Dude, just apologize. I really have such low expectation of you that I don't even expect you to take the video down. Just say that I was wrong about that specific case and move on, instead of saying I never mentioned the case when you clearly did. Then he goes on to say, multiple former employees told me that there were domestic violence charges filed by James's ex-girlfriend. They are my sources, not that surprising witness. They could be wrong. Maybe it was a police call. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe they also found the case I sent that surprising witness and mistakenly believed it was the same James Warren. So if anybody learned anything from this video up until this point, it would be that the allegation you thought to be 100% right might be wrong, especially if it's coming from this guy. And it might cause serious damage if you wrongly accuse somebody. Either way, you have to take responsibility. You can't switch this around to they could be wrong or they could be mistaken. No, you're the one spreading it to millions of people online. Take responsibility. Then he says, charges also don't mean conviction. I was just saying here's where I'm at. Currently, this person will have the updates. Whatever those updates are, I'm fine with. I've interacted with James firsthand and I've heard enough testimony to form my own opinion on him. I could always delay for more info, submit more FOIA requests, interview ex-girlfriends, whatever. I would rather just open it up to the public while being transparent that nothing is proof so I can work on other things. I'm confident that my video will age well and Lokoya and James will be let go from Mr. Beast. I hope to God that Dogpack404 and his fanboys realize that saying nothing is proof doesn't get you off the hook. I'm really sure that if Dogpack approached this with the mindset of, if I accuse the wrong guy, I could cause some serious damage to that person and my credibility could be largely destroyed, he would have fact-checked everything before saying it in his video. Then the Oreo deals his final blow, quoting what Dogpack just said and replying, this is the exact opposite of what she says in her response video. If that's the case, this is a misunderstanding. You should probably sort this out with her. Her video says she told you that the case you showed was likely not him. By the way, this guy makes so many baseless accusations, his karma is starting to catch up with him on Twitter. To prove I'm not selectively presenting comments, I'll just show you the replies scrolling down. This guy with the username Fight Woke Virus source claims fraudulent Mr. Beast is sending his minions over to discredit you. Here for the ratio, Whiskey Sawyer says to Dogpack, then why couldn't you wait to post a video once you had something that wasn't just claims? There's no deadline for collecting evidence. Alguata says, you say in the video that she helped get information for you and is therefore a type of source. You internet investigators are so cringe and dumb, etc, etc. In another thread, after the comment cop completely burns Dogpack, Fight Woke Virus comes to his rescue saying Mr. Beast fanboys trying to discredit Dogpack are either paid by Mr. Beast or trying to get in his good graces. Upping What Up says, I highly encourage you guys to talk things out. Smaggle BSC says, what about the animal abuse allegations? Why did you randomly accuse James of beating his dog and then never mention it again? And many more. By the way, to the people wondering, okay, but that was just one slip up, which I don't know how pointing at the wrong guy for domestic violence could be construed as just one slip up. I already made a video arguing against every point he made in the first video, so watch that if you're interested. And this video was created when I was in the process of a rebuttal against his entire third video, so subscribe if you want to see that later on.